Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another chapter in Geek Sermon. Today we are going to be reviewing Dragon Ball FighterZ. I'm going to be giving you guys my top 5 things that I did not like about this game, and the top 5 things that made me fall in love with this game. Stay tuned, here we go.
Hello to all my geeks out there. My name is Winston the Wizard. Welcome to another chapter in the book of the Geek Sermon. Before this chapter gets started, take a second and give this video a thumbs up. And hit that subscribe button.
Number 1 on my list of top 5 things that I did not like about Dragon Ball FighterZ was that they didn't have any of the GT characters in the game. With future updates, who knows, maybe they'll add them to the game. I mean, that's something that can easily be fixed. I was just hoping that starting off, they would be making characters like Omega Shenron, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Oob, things like that, more available to us. I mean, who knows, maybe they just don't want them in the game, but I'm hoping that down the road, they add those characters in, but as it stands right now, they're not there. And that leads us into number 2, which is the roster size. I don't like the roster size in this game. I'm so used to having so many different fighters that I can choose from, so many different characters that all have their own skill sets, that all have their own special attacks, things like that. I am kind of disappointed that they only have 24 characters available right now. Obviously, the creators of Dragon Ball FighterZ are smart because they're releasing the characters over time in DLCs, which is definitely going to yield greater profits for them. But like, come on, you couldn't have started us out with like Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan. Like, he's a hell of a fighter. I would have loved to see him in the game from the word go, and you know, that's just my opinion. Now, there has been leaked information gathered around the first DLC that will have Broly in it, so my prayers will be answered soon, and hopefully, very, very soon, we'll all be hearing that iconic Broly Kakarot scream. You know what I'm talking about? The one where he's like, Kakarot! 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 Freaking out, and he's like raging and stuff. I love it. I want Broly in there. Definitely one of my favorites. So hopefully they add him in there, but as well as all the other characters. I want that roster to just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Number 3, character transformations. This is something that I'm really personally having a hard time with. In previous games, you've been able to charge up your character, go Super Saiyan, all the different levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, Mystic, God, all that kind of stuff. And in Fighters, whatever your character starts out with, whether they're, normal Goku or Super Saiyan Goku, they stay that way for the entire fight, regardless of how much power you have or how much you've powered them up. Now, I personally don't like that. I prefer to work up to a Super Saiyan and go from there. I feel like it makes the game more challenging. It's more difficult to actually work up, and it's more of a rewarding experience to the player that you earned that, you worked up to that. So, having said that though, there are a couple situations in the game where your character transforms. For example, Goku has a Kamehameha wave, and briefly, for all of about 5 seconds, he turns Super Saiyan 3, but the thing that sucks is like you can't control him during that time. Like, he does his move, and then he expends all of his energy, and he's back to a regular Super Saiyan by the end of that Kamehameha blast. Now, the way that it looks is absolutely amazing. I love how it looks in the game, but I would love to be able to control him as well as a Super Saiyan 3. The other part that I've seen, like, so far, and I haven't gotten through the entire game, I've gotten through a good majority of it, but the other part that I've seen is Gohan. You can unlock his potential similar in the same manner as you do with Goku, with his Super Saiyan 3. I personally would prefer to be able to control your character transformation and have the transformation actually mean something during the match. So if you go from, regular Goku to Super Saiyan Goku, I want that to give me an attack boost, right? Or if you go to Super Saiyan 2, I want that to give me a speed boost. Or Super Saiyan 3 makes me, super strong, like as far as like defense. You get a defense boost. Something along those lines. I actually want it to mean something. Number 4, auto combos and special attacks. This is something that I personally hate because this is something that can be very easily spammed over and over again, really making gameplay suck if you're matched up against somebody who's trolling you and doesn't actually want to put up a good fight. I feel like the special abilities that we have in the game are they're just way too easy to pull off. Now, this definitely makes it easy for people who are new to the game to pick it up and run with it without any problems, but it also takes gamers that are usually very skilled at fighting games and makes their skill level slightly irrelevant because of how easy someone can just spam combos and just troll. So, I really am not a huge fan of the auto combos. Like, yes, you can tech yourself out of it, but if you're not an actual good player, teching yourself out of it is going to suck. You're just going to hate it. So definitely auto combos, not a good thing in my opinion. I don't like them at all. Number 5, toxic environment. This has been a problem with almost any game that you play PvP, but I figured I would mention it because this is a real genuine problem in the gaming community. This is the reason why for a little while in my life I stopped playing games like League of Legends or Destiny or Call of Duty. Now, I'm not usually the person that is getting bagged on because I think I'm a pretty decent player in any game, but it genuinely bugs me when players do that to other players. I just hate being around negativity, and that is something that we are definitely seeing in Dragon Ball FighterZ. At least I am. I'm seeing players that just think that they're like God's gift to video games, and they're ruining the experience of other players. So that's definitely probably one of the more important things, in my opinion, that I'm just not liking with Dragon Ball FighterZ, is that I'm seeing a lot of that. So hopefully we can figure out a way to make that stop. I don't know if we could have like a ranked thing and put them in different categories or whatever the situation is, but hopefully that is something that we can figure out. Alright, so we went over the top 5 things that I did not like about Dragon Ball FighterZ, so let's get into the top 5 things that I loved about Dragon Ball FighterZ. Number 1, fighting style. I'm so happy with the fact that this game went back to its roots and gave us sort of a Street Fighter vibe. I love the fact that we aren't fighting in three-dimensional landscapes anymore. Like, don't get me wrong, the 3D landscapes are cool, but I prefer the older style fighting games where I'm not running around trying to chase somebody up, down, left, right, all kinds of angles, things like that. I prefer the fighting style where you just go back and forth on the screen and just duke it out. Like, whoever's more skilled is gonna win in that scenario. So that's what I prefer. So that's number 1, fighting style. Number 2, the new original storyline. So I am super stoked that we have something new to go on and that the main antagonist is a female. I think that's something super cool. I think that this is something that has been a miss in the Dragon Ball series for quite a while. Because, realistically, other than Android 18, there really isn't a strong female fighter role, which is something that I'm like stoked that they're trying to change. They're trying to bring more of a new age element. Like, seriously guys, it's not the 1920s anymore. I think that we can all be stoked about having a strong female antagonist. So that is number 2 that I really like. Number 3, the storyline jokes. Now, throughout the story, you get a real sense of the characters coming to life, having real jokes on each other that we as fans of the show would often say about the characters. So it's cool that the creators of the game took those jokes, embraced them, and put them into the game. That really draws us in more. Like, me as a viewer, I would always joke about how weak Yamcha was, and I think the rest of the world would too. And in one of the cutscenes of the story, Piccolo goes straight savage and just destroys Yamcha. They're talking about how Yamcha's like praying to Kami to make his enemies weak and things like that. And then Piccolo literally looks at Yamcha and says, "I can see why Bulma chose Vegeta," which is absolutely fantastic for diehard fans. There are so many more like small jabs that are getting thrown around at each other in the game. But I thought that this was one worth mentioning because it's absolutely hilarious. I almost died when that happened. I almost fell out of my chair. I'm not even joking. I loved it. It was hilarious. Number 4, the lobby. Guys, I really like the fact that in this game, there is a lobby. I think it adds a new level to the game, and I like that there isn't just like a pause menu that you can just go, "Oh, I want to go here and play story. I want to go here and play this and do that and do this." I like that it shows that there are other people playing the game and that you can communicate with those other players. I like that it it forces you to be able to walk around and look at cool different things, and that to me brings the game to life. I also like the little lobby avatars. I think that they're funny, and they add like a little subtle cuteness to the game. I like that the avatars are customizable and that you can use characters that aren't even in the game yet. So that gives me a lot of hope that the game will include additional characters that I want to see in future DLCs. So definitely love the lobby. Really like the fact that it's bringing a different element to the game. So that's number 4. Alright, so number 5, the English dub. I love the fact that in Dragon Ball FighterZ, they enlisted Sean Schemmel and Christopher Sabat to do the English dub for the game. If anyone has ever been a fan of a series that got its own game and the voices in the game were not the original cast members, you definitely feel let down. Like, it is a huge letdown, and it really like disconnects you from the game. So I just want to take a minute and say thank you to the creators of the game, taking that in consideration for us, making an English dub available to us, because that helped me connect with the game better. It makes me feel better because I grew up watching the show and hearing those voices that I was hearing when I was a kid and all that kind of stuff. It's nice being pulled back to your childhood by something so simple and so easy. So that's definitely a huge thing that I really liked about the game. Like, not a huge thing, but something so small could have that big of an impact on a game. I absolutely loved it. So kudos to you guys. Alright everyone, so that is my review on Dragon Ball FighterZ for the top 5 things that I did not like about this game, the top 5 things that I did like about this game. Let me know what your favorite and least favorite parts of the game were in the comments below, and I'll be sure to reply back to you guys. Let me know what you guys want to see in upcoming videos, and also a little sneak peek in next week's video for you guys. We're going to be reviewing and going over tips and tricks for Madden 18. I'm going to have a special guest appearance as well. You guys are going to love it. The guy's got tons of energy. He's funny. He's charismatic. So we'll be seeing a little bit of him in the next video. That's it for now. I'm going to let Winston take you guys out. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for listening to today's sermon. If you like today's sermon, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.